All right. Welcome to another episode of the Lockdown Podcast, where we continue to pick apart Raw, SmackDown, any PLEs that have happened or are working towards. So it's been an interesting one because we kind of recorded last week just a smidgen, covering night one of SummerSlam, and then obviously we watched SummerSlam night two and didn't do a live stream, unfortunately. But since Frederick was not here, we will kind of run down night one and then we will run down night two just to cover our bases and get all of our thoughts on the matches and stories. So SummerSlam kicks off with what I think is honestly a phenomenal match, which was Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Um, it was just a good straight up match. And I talked about this beforehand is that the majority of SummerSlam was just straight up matches, and I appreciate that because it's the second biggest PLE of the year. So let's leave these PLEs, at least the main four, let's get them mostly clean so we can really tell a story and really have some quality matches without interference.
Yeah.
That is my PSA. But obviously Roman Reigns and Jey Uso get over on that win. Um and honestly, I don't think they would have lost. I think this was a very cut and dry. As much as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are the new kids on the block, I don't think they're ever really giving Roman too many L's. Um, but good match. Nothing too bad to complain about. Now, we did have that whole tag team whatever thing a while back with the women's division. Obviously, Raquel and Roxanne retained in that instance. But somehow we weasel our way into an Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, which is a weird pairing, but it works.
Right.
Um, Facing off against Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. And I love that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair won this. I literally said I wanted it to happen. I'm
Hmm.
glad it happened. Um, I think this is definitely a shakeup, and I'm sure that Liv Morgan is a little bit pissed off sitting at home right now.
Well, there's nothing Liv Morgan can do. I mean, she's legit injured. So, I'm sure that they will indeed bring her back for some really good story with Judgment Day, Dirty Dom, Roxanne Perez. But she's just got to be healthy in order to do that. So, um, I don't have a problem with Judgment Day dropping some championships. It's probably way overdue. It'll make for better stories coming down the pipe. So let's just wait till Liv gets better, and then we can just go from there.
Yeah. So Karrion Cross has been plaguing and really getting on Sami Zayn's case for the better part of a month. We finally get a culmination match between Sami Zayn and Karrion Cross, and
Right.
basically the stipulation was supposed to be like, hey, whoever wins, they say the other person's right. But it didn't happen. I was a little bit upset that it didn't happen at the end of this match when Sami Zayn defeats Karrion Cross, and we didn't get that, hey, you were right, or anything at the end of this match, which I thought they were going to bring out a mic. And, that was the whole big thing about the match was, hey, you're right, I'm wrong. Never happened.
Mm.
Um, so I know I've said before, and I will say a million times, obviously, I was wrong about Jade Cargill. She was definitely stiff in the beginning. Obviously, she's coming to her own. She wins Queen of the Ring and basically is able to face Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. And I'm actually not mad that Tiffany beat Jade Cargill. And I think a lot of it is that Tiffany's over right now. And yes, Jade is a future champion, but I think right now we are in the Tiffany Stratton era. Um,
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think obviously you want to see, seeing titles change hands. It could make for better storylines. Um, However, I Jade has vastly improved. You know, there were a couple of spots in the match that can be improved on. And that could be said about anybody that had a match that weekend. She is a future champion. If they didn't put the strap on her or the championship on her because right now she's about to go and film a movie and she'll be out for, 3 or 4 months. Uh, I think that makes sense if they've got a better storyline for Jade and for Tiffany that would be better for both of them coming into WrestleMania season. That's a really great creative decision. Jade is going to continue to improve. She's going to have more opportunities. So yeah, let's just see what it is. I mean, this is like one championship match that I don't mind her taking a loss on. But if it becomes one of those things where she's just poorly booked for whatever reason, um, then we can revisit what's going on when it comes to booking and creative. But yeah, I think you're right. Tiffany is really, really hot right now with the crowd and probably with merchandise. Yeah, Jade eventually will get there. But we just got to see, let her finish her movie and some other outside of the WWE things and then go from there.
yeah. Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate that they do this, in regards to people being out for any number of reasons for a certain period of time. And I don't then what's the point of putting that person in a high caliber match if you know they're going to lose because they have something else going on? Now, I know they apparently Cody so this whole Street Fighter movie that Cody was supposed to be in, and that was I was very adamant. I was like, why did he win and not Randy? And so apparently Street Fighter's not being filmed until late September, and apparently Cody will not be taking breaks um for the movie. So I mean, and realistically, Cody only has to be at one show a week. So I mean, so
Yeah,
I
it,
think him not
yeah.
taking the time off and still filming the movie at the same time, I think is feasible. But
Yeah, I think that's then it could be said that maybe Cody's role in the movie is not high profile. It's a supporting actor role. Because remember, although his role and scenes were cut from the Marvel movie that he shot, Seth Rollins was still doing weekly shows and filming this movie for Marvel, which was Captain America Brave New World. Um, so it is possible. However, with Roman Reigns, who's supposedly in the same movie that Cody is going to be in, he probably will take the time off because,
I mean,
one,
he's not
he's earned it.
even
You know,
he's barely been around, and
you know,
it blows my
let's dissect that part just for like 90 seconds, if we could. Um, Here is my take on the whole Roman Reigns being like a part timer or showing up whenever he wants to in that narrative. I would like to say it is one of three things. One, it is simply creative. If they make Romans show up every week, he's not as big and not as important to storylines as if he showed up every other week or every month or whatever have you. So it's the exclusivity of having Roman Reigns on a show that makes him that much more special to come and see. Two, it could just be, a contractual thing. You know, we could say it could be because of his leukemia and it's a health concern that they want to make sure that they take care of someone that they've invested so much with. So why not let him go and do things outside of the ring? It could be a family thing. It's like The Rock is sitting on the board. He's like, nah, my cousin's not doing that. He's a superstar. He's a movie star coming up. So he's got to wind down his time. Or it could be like, what? We don't need Roman Reigns like that. So, whatever. Whenever you want to show up, champ, come on and work.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a whole bunch of reasonings why, but what it doesn't grind my gears, but it really gives me cause to think about it is that their narrative is like Roman Reigns just comes to work when he wants to, when I think it's a lot deeper than that, because if you love the business and love pro wrestling and you love WWE, you want me to show up and sit in catering? All right, I'm there. What city we gonna be in? You know what? You want me to go and work on main event? All right, I got you. I'll be there. NXT? Yep, I'm there. If that's the machine you want to be in and you love the WWE way of being a professional wrestler, yeah, you're gonna show up. For Roman Reigns, he was rock solid for years. And then all of a sudden we hear about his lifelong battle with leukemia. We, see that he's getting breaks from his cousin so he can star in movies. So there's going to be a shift. I don't know any professional wrestler that would not want to be a movie star, based on the work that they do as a professional wrestler. It's still a form of entertainment. So for me, yeah, I don't need to see Roman Reigns, because if Roman Reigns is on TV, then Carmelo Hayes is not on TV. And if I'm a Carmelo Hayes fan or a Carmelo Hayes guy, I want to see my guy on TV, not Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I
It's
mean,
not really grinding a gear. It's my opinion. I just wanted to present that to you and ask you, what do you think of my take?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that's what makes this show, this podcast great, is everybody has different opinions and different thoughts on things and different angles to look at it. And it does make sense. Yes, Roman did it for so long, and he's deserving of a break.
Mhm.
And yes, and he still is. That crowd still gets a pop every time he shows up.
Really?
And like, yeah, we do have a lot more to offer than Roman Reigns at this juncture. We basically, we have a stacked roster. So I think, to as opposed to going 80% Roman Reigns necessity down to like 30% necessity and let the rest of the roster do what they do, I think, yes, I agree. Um,
Thank you.
so we'll get back to the track here.
Mhm.
So we've had the brief interaction with Jelly Roll returning,
Mm.
or with showing up and everything, and the whole Logan Paul interaction, which basically led us to a Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. And honestly, like, for being an actual outsider, let's just call it like it is,
Yep.
you know, he put on a good match.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he
yeah.
actually legitimately kind of got injured on the table spot, and yet still came back, and ever the showman that Jelly Roll is, and
Mhm.
came back and tore the house down. And for what it was, is just a celebrity match. Like, I it was good.
Yeah,
Like, you
I want to
can't take
give
anything.
Jelly Roll and everybody that trained Jelly Roll props and shout outs, because the previous pictures that I had saw of Jelly Roll, he was a big dude, bigger than me, and I'm a big guy. And he like slimmed down. He looked good in the ring. He looked very healthy, and he looked in a condition where he could like do this,
Right.
maybe not to the caliber of a Logan Paul, who is an athlete, you know, but he really worked a good match. And, maybe a 6 or 8 week camp or five,
Well,
or 3 month
he
camp,
moved down to he moved down to Florida to train for the
yeah.
match. So
Yeah. I mean,
so
and that's, I think, of all the things you want to hear, like the behind the scenes from people like, coming in to be a wrestler, those are the types of stories you want to hear. Like, yeah, I stopped whatever I was doing when this opportunity came, and I dedicated my life to making sure that I was able to do this match. You know, we heard similar stories with Bad Bunny. Now we're hearing similar stories with Jelly Roll. It's a lot different than the old regime where someone would come in, and like the day before they would learn how to take a clothesline and that would be it, you know. And now you're seeing people really invest their life into this business, even if it's for a moment, to see what these other, you know, these other athletes and entertainers do on a daily basis so they can chase that dream of being in the WWE and performing in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to Jelly Roll for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our headline match of night
Mhm.
one was CM Punk versus Gunther.
Mm.
And I tell you what, like, for the fact that Gunther actually hurt himself, like, this match was literally every bit of me putting my foot in my mouth about CM Punk not being able to put on a solid 25-30 minute match.
Right.
And it it was such a revamp of CM Punk and kind of a flashback, as it were, to the CM Punk of old in this match. And obviously he comes out on top. But you know, Seth Rollins being ever the architect, the visionary, the revolutionary, cashes in. And
Mhm.
I thought this is again, and I think even the fact that, like, okay, so this is the story, this is how it's presented. Seth cashes in on CM Punk. I still think to a certain extent, CM Punk was pissed, and like legitimately pissed, that Seth cashed in on him. Even if
You
he
know,
knew the outcome,
right.
it still, the fact that he went through a grueling match to beat Gunther,
Mhm.
you know, and he hadn't been a champion in 1,400 days, and the fact that this happened in the way it happened, I think there was still like legitimate disdain from CM Punk to Seth Rollins,
You
much like
know,
the first time CM Punk showed up and Seth
yeah.
was livid.
You know, I think that one, its story, I think we've all may have seen like videos like relating to when CM Punk did a similar thing to Jeff Hardy more than a decade ago. Um, or we don't even have to look that long, or what CM Punk did to Drew McIntyre last year. So, you know, it goes like there's like ebbs and flows, there's balances within this, you know, within the business of storytelling. Um, so I would like to say that this was the business that needed to be done and made because it makes sense going forward. Do I think that Seth Rollins? Do I think that CM Punk was pissed that it was Seth Rollins? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah, but also too at the same time, I think he would have been pissed if it was anybody, but it made it more burn because it was Seth Rollins. And maybe or maybe not. If it made sense that it was R-Truth that got to beat him in just over 5 minutes for a heavyweight championship, I don't think CM Punk would have had a problem with it if that was what the story was going to be told. But you're right with it being Seth Rollins. I think with both of them, there's business to be had and made and done, and that they will work together to
Yeah.
to to do that business. Outside of that, they are not having chicken wings together. I'd tell you that shit.
No, and I but like the legitimacy of the actual hatred is what makes it that much better. I mean, even if you go back down the pipeline, back into the late 70s, mid 80s, early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
there was plenty of legitimate hate between wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
it made, like, even though like it was a legit like hatred and everything else, but it made the matches that much better.
right.
And I think we are on the precipice of something special between CM Punk and Seth Rollins because the story's so great.
Right. And I
And
think learning about the behind the scenes feelings from both of them in the future would be just as interesting and entertaining and informative as watching what plays out in the matches on TV. Uh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think it honestly, in the sense of storytelling,
Mhm.
you want the best stories. And honestly, this is a great story because the tension is there.
Mm.
So night 2, um, we kicked off, and then this is what I said I've said obviously I wanted Naomi to retain just because I wanted her reign to be legit.
Right.
So she ends up obviously getting a fast one on Rhea and Io and retains. And I thought it was honestly a cool moment for her father to play her out to the ring.
Yep.
I thought that was special. I thought that would be a dream for any person in the wrestling business to have a family member play them out to the ring, or even, I mean it was special.
Yeah.
Um so I mean, honestly, a great moment in wrestling. Just because Naomi's dad has played in legit bands. So like
Yep.
it's not like he's just out there as an amateur. Like no, he's a professional.
Oh yeah.
He has star power, and so I thought it was a good moment. I'm glad Naomi won just because we need to bring legitimacy to cash-ins. We can't
Yeah.
just have them cash in and then poof, it's gone. So, and honestly, like just to touch back on the CM Punk thing, like you said, he got his comeuppance. He screwed over so many people. It's like it's like, why are you mad that someone screwed you over finally? Someone finally got the fast one on you. But I digress because that's what we do. We always dial it down. Gooth fraba. So our next match was the 6-pack TLC match, which was ironic. I mean, obviously intentional, but was an homage to the 25-year anniversary of the first TLC match. Um, and so I thought that was cool. And obviously at the event, obviously the Dudleys were there, the Hardys were there. Obviously Edge and Christian weren't there because they're off doing whatever they do. And so obviously they didn't have them there, but it was still cool to have Bubba Ray and Devon and Jeff and Matt Hardy, just because they were so instrumental in the time that they were in, to be the first people to wrestle with tables, ladders, and chairs was a crazy concept made up by a madman thinking, hey, well, what about everything? Which turned into a pay-per-view actual, event, which I think, is again the evolution of the business just keeps on getting bigger. And the fact that we had 6 different teams in a TLC match is mind-blowing in and of itself.
Yeah, that's 12 people
In,
trying to entertain a whole bunch of people, and at the same time it's crazy that there were so many different spots that you had to keep track of.
yeah.
Just thinking about, some of the scenes that I saw of the match, that was a lot busier than what it needed to be. And
Yeah.
for me, I think anything more than 8 people in a match, in a tag team match, is is a bit much. Yeah,
I
is a,
mean, I mean,
for me.
I think that like it was more about pushing the envelope, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I think being that SummerSlam is 2 nights now, we really have to up our game. And so why not with that? Because there's so much turmoil. There's more turmoil in the SmackDown tag team division than there is in the Raw. Raw is boring.
mhm,
Raw is absolutely boring, and the SmackDown tag team division is on fire. There's so many good tag teams. You Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, DIY, Wyatt Six, Andrade, and Ray Phoenix. Like, there's so much there. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's throw you all in a TLC match. And
yeah.
I love how Nick Aldis came out on that SmackDown. He's like, you know what? You clearly all want some piece of this. Let's do it. TLC match, SummerSlam, boom. Like, I thought it was a great moment. I thought it was a surprise moment because, like you said, like eight seems like a lot, but well, let's up the ante to 12. Why
You
not?
know, I wonder how much of that was just more of a spectacle than it would have been to make sense. Like what I could have seen and I would have been all right with would have been a gauntlet match where each team would have went up against the champions and then have the champions be under the Freebirds rule. So, I mean, they could have been switching out with 2 other people. I
Um,
mean, Eric Rowan and
I mean the
Dexter Loomis, then, switching
I
out to whomever. And you know, it was a lot for me. And yeah, that's all I can
I
say. It was
just
just a lot for me.
I honestly like I'm not, I honestly think the gauntlet match is probably one of my least favorite matches, whether it's a tag team or a singles match. I don't like the format because it gets too predictable. Um, in the sense of like, oh well, we drew the short straw. We got to be the first team. We're gonna have to run the whole thing, and then like they get they win 2 matches, and then lose the next, and it's too much going on. That's how they set it up is too predictable as far as who wins. Kind of like what they did with the gauntlet match where CM Punk won. It was too predictable of the outcome, because you have the young guy sitting there running the gauntlet, and then old man River comes in to basically win, and you're like, well, yeah, he beat a 4 match in superstar. I hope you can beat him, but I
You
digress.
know, I'm on the opposite side. I like a gauntlet match because especially when you have the baby face as the first person out, it it builds so much credibility even if they don't win the match is because they gave it their all. They had to go through all these other people before they met the final boss, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and if they lose, it's like, it still makes them look strong because they had to beat X number of people in order to get to that person. And you can use all type of explanations to get the baby face over even more with the television audience. Um, I just I like a good gauntlet match that has an outcome of building the baby face to be able to take on any type of odds, because they're probably gonna have another match with the heel, and that match will be the odds stacked against the baby face. There'll be
Yeah.
outside interference, there'll be like surprises and stuff like that. And the babyface learned from the previous encounter of the gauntlet match.
Yeah.
To me, it makes sense. Um, but yeah, like I said, like 4+ tag teams in one match, that's a bit much. That's a bit much because there's not a tag team in that match that I didn't want to see win because they're all credible.
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, even Fraxium coming up from NXT. it was anybody's. It could have been anybody's match if it was, more, if it was less people, but the more people you add, the more problems that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, and it is
You
what
know,
it is. It happened.
yep, yep, it happened,
Um,
and everybody enjoyed themselves, especially the spots where everybody was going through the table, kind of like one after another after another. That
yeah,
was kind of crazy. And Candice
yeah.
LeRae, like going through a ladder herself. She's tough.
Yeah. So we have Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria in basically
Mm,
a last chance match, um, being a no disqualification match. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was solid. I thought I had some good spots. Obviously Becky Lynch getting the W, and now Lyra will go back to the back of the line until someone else wins the championship because she can't challenge
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
And then we have the United States Championship match between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. And in typical fashion, obviously the MFTs help him win. No real surprise on that, but that's heel business. We have Dominic kind of winning against AJ Styles. Not in the greatest fashion, but I mean, in the dirty Dominic way to win, you honestly have to give credit where credit's due. Um, being that honestly, from where Dominic was to where he is now, he's putting on better matches. He's still getting away like a slippery snake, but that's his character.
Hmm.
That's his he's dirty Dominic Mysterio. And I've been an anti Dominic for pretty much since ever. And honestly, I gotta give respect where respect is due. Him putting on better matches and doing heelish behavior. Now we have the main event of the main event: Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, and what a to quote AJ, or not AJ, good old JR and Jerry the King Lawler, it was a slobber knocker. And honestly, like, Cody obviously wins,
Right.
which was a basically a passing of the torch to Cody Rhodes, much like the rub that 2 years ago Brock Lesnar gave to Cody Rhodes, a similar nod. Um, but after the match was where the issue was, and we see the return of one Mr. Conspiracy, Brock Lesnar, and like from the wrestling standpoint, you just look at the guy and he's in his late 40s. I think he's like 48, and he still moves like he's 25. It's honestly kind of scary.
Hmm.
Um, and so now that's obviously going to lead us into a feud with John Cena and Brock Lesnar, which was basically one of the lists of John Cena that he wanted to have. So this isn't about the controversy that it is with Brock Lesnar and all the other stuff. This is more or less John Cena saying, "Hey, this is what I want for my exit. Give me what I want for my exit." So this we'll let the Brock Lesnar stuff be a dead dog and let it lie of all the outside stuff. Let's just take it for what it is. This is just wrestling. This is the business. This is what John Cena wanted. So John Cena is going to get what he wants. But I don't see Brock Lesnar coming back after that, though. I think this is because this is the farewell tour of John Cena. He's getting the matches he wants out the gate, and then it's going to be what it's going to be. When John's gone, John's gone. And after, Brock and John have their thing, Brock will be gone. Brock's not coming back. This is purely what John Cena wants. So, I don't know if you want to pitch in your thoughts on that or not, but
It's really hard to, like, be excited to see a Brock Lesnar back, given with all the things that go on in and outside of professional wrestling. However, I would say there is something to be said about, letting one of your most decorated champions and characters in John Cena, you know, be able to have another match with Brock Lesnar while John Cena is headed towards retirement. There's something to be said about that. You know, it's it's a challenge to be excited to see Brock Lesnar in a
Yeah.
ring right now.
Well,
However, for some people, like you said, it's just professional wrestling. But for others, professional wrestling is a microcosm of society and where we live. And yeah, it's challenging because one, we've seen the type of matches that Brock Lesnar has had. Um, and is it going to be this old same song and dance with John Cena one last time, or will we get something new and something exciting, something different? Um, yeah, so I'm kind of just like, is this really good for business? Bringing Brock Lesnar back to have a nostalgia match with John Cena, or would it be better for John Cena to put over younger talent and
I
not
would
just
I would wave on
younger
that.
entitled talent? I would say like Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, let's say Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, um, you know, people that could really use it. Obafemi could really use the rub from John Cena. So could Trick Williams. Um, I think we could look back on this and say like, man, wouldn't it have been great? And instead of Brock Lesnar, we got someone new that John Cena could have really like helped elevate younger talent as opposed to
Well,
this. I mean,
I
it's
think
it yeah.
there's just not enough time. And I think that it is not on John Cena to put over anyone from NXT. I
You
think it is
know,
the I think it is the job of the main roster talent, the big names that are on here right now that are
there's
going to be here for a
there's
while.
there's nobody bigger than John Cena, and he is an active in-ring talent. And for him and for people that are on NXT to not get the opportunity to get a rub from John Cena on his way out, I think is John Cena being selfish at the business.
I mean,
Matter of fact,
I don't think
I will triple down on this statement. I think John Cena is still in his heel character, and this is all a work from John Cena. He
I
don't
mean,
care. He doesn't care about
I
younger
don't think
talent.
but the thing is that there's not enough time in
Oh,
his there's not enough time in his retirement thing
oh
to
they
to do all these stories when
they were
he has to build on the
Seth,
matches that he has.
they rushed the CM Punk match, they rushed the Randy Orton match, they threw us under the bus with this crappy heel turn. They rushed this conflict with R-Truth, aka Ron Killings, aka they don't know what to do with Ron
But
Killings
the
and when it
thing
comes for
but
booking. I no, they got the time. They
mm,
Carmelo Hayes is somewhere in catering, like sitting with his
I
fiance,
mean,
like,
he's
damn,
still
these
got
potatoes were
4
good.
months. He's still got 4 months. I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen in 4 months. Obviously, the Brock thing's gonna be for about 2 weeks. Maybe we get Clash in Paris, but like, and I don't think that's even gonna happen. So there's gonna have to be a bigger show that's gonna get Brock Lesnar to go. So we're down the pipeline 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, I guess you do have a point that he's running out of time just because we know Brock's not gonna be at anything short of a big PLE. And he's not going to Saudi because
You
he's
know,
like, or Paris. He's like, no, I'm not doing that shit. I
you know what?
guarantee you, it is an
I
American pay per view that he is done at.
I would say the epitome of part timing is Brock Lesnar. Now, bar everything else, like, no, I don't, you know what? No, I want to see John Cena pick, even if he hands picks the younger talent that he wants to work with.
Yeah.
I'd rather see those types of matches, even if it's like weekly booking. Him putting over younger, fresher talent like Kurt Angle did him in his first match. That's the
Ruthless
John
aggression.
that's the John Cena I want to see. I want to see the John Cena who actually is actively working at putting over younger talent, not sitting in the back like in catering or in the gorilla position or backstage, like having these like one-on-one little chats that we hear about 2 or 3 years ago. No, no, no. Shut up, get in the ring. John Cena open challenge for the remainder of your career. You put over, you like give the rub to guys like Carmelo Hayes, Obafemi, Trick Williams.
But the thing is,
Give the
but like,
give the rub to Dominic Mysterio. Have a match of a fun feud with Dominic Mysterio. Those are the types of matches that we can get instead of um, the tried and true Brock Lesnar, John Cena matches.
I mean, I
That
definitely, I
that's
mean,
my
like,
take.
from what you're saying, I gather, and it does make sense that why are we wasting the next 4 appearances from John Cena on Brock Lesnar?
Yes.
And I get that completely. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate
Hmm.
of what I think they're trying to do. And I think, like, I still stand by my there's not enough time, just because when they're trying to build a semi match, that's about 2 to 3 appearances from John Cena for each match he has.
Right. So,
And so it's
mhm.
unfortunate that that's how it's getting played. But like, if he was like gonna say like, hey, you know, he started his retirement on more matches versus him just chatting up the world and everything else, I would have been fine with that. But like, he wasted, and it's the Rock's fault that we are wasted, that they wasted all this stupid heel turn that even John Cena called it what it was. It was bullshit. And I think they wasted 3-4 months that John Cena could have been doing something more
Right.
than play this stupid heel character that didn't even pan out. The Rock dipped, Travis Scott dipped. Like, the whole thing was a fucking clusterfuck. It
You
did not
know,
make any sense.
so here's what I'll say about The Rock not being able to do that. There were some stories and videos that The Rock had a health concern. Um, Now, I don't know what the legitimacy of that is or anything like that. But if there was a health concern with The Rock and he said like, "Nah, bro, I'm not doing anything until I get this under concern," fine. Then let that be what it is, and that's why this fell apart. But it's another time that The Rock and John Cena tried to do something that it fell apart and blame went to The Rock. All right. So be that as it may, I think the heel turn with John Cena could have been really special if it wasn't rushed and it wasn't abandoned. And I hate that it was abandoned. I would like to think that what we're getting from John Cena now is still him in his heel persona and era. He's just suckering everyone in so he could really like play up to it, like, and go out as a heel. I think the the whole Brock Lesnar thing, if you were to say your positioning was this is about money and a money grab and business, there's no one bigger than Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, I would say, yes, you're right. I get it. Okay. This is about money and business. Let that be the case. I'm saying for me, the the idealistic me and how I have heard other performers, other wrestlers that wanted to go out with younger talent and putting over younger talent on their way out to retirement and doing that. That's how you do business. That's how you keep the WWE vibrant. That's how you build talent is on your way out. You give the rub to younger talent. You put over younger talent. I'm not saying John Cena needs the job to Carmelo Hayes. I'm saying Carmelo Hayes could use the John Cena shine to help elevate him to that next level to connect with fans so he could build his character. Same with Andrade, same with Obafemi, Trick Williams, same with Dirty Dom. Although Dirty Dom doesn't probably need any help, maybe John Cena needs some help from Dirty Dom. There's just a handful of talent that could really use the John Cena rub on his way out.
Yeah.
But if your positioning or anyone's positioning was Brock Lesnar's going to put asses in seats because it is Brock Lesnar, and that's why they brought him back, fine. I'm 10 out of 10. I acknowledge that more so than they don't have time.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're on Monday Night Raw, right?
Yeah. So well, I know. I was letting you cook, man. I was letting you cook because I feel like you had a lot to say, and I wanted you to get it out and not rush you. Be like, hey, shut up, dude. We're trying to get to the next segment. Like, no, I was just letting you cook, bro. I was letting you cook.
I appreciate that.
Because every so often, you or Tim just gotta get something off their chest.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? Let it fucking ride.
That.
Okay?
I do. I appreciate
you.
that.
You were engaged in what you were saying. You had so much you had to get it
every
off.
once in a while.
Get it off.
Everyone, I just got to get it out. Got to get it out.
All
so
right.
Monday Night Raw.
Monday
what
Night
happened?
Raw. So Seth comes out in all of his glory, trying to have a world heavyweight title address. And here comes LA Knight, which I honestly it had to be LA Knight. I mean, and what's crazy is that the roster of our talent we have right now are pretty old. And I think like we have to start really like pushing things along here because these people aren't going to be wrestling forever. But anyways. But no, and so obviously leads to an actual match later in the night. We'll get to that in a second, but I love that they're letting Sheamus and Rusev cook. They obviously ends in a double count out, but like this is not over. Like this is one of those like it's like top mid card tier matches that there's no build to it, dude. It just is what it is. They've had banger after banger for decade, and let them cook. Let them just beat the holy hell out of each other. Obviously Sheamus finally got a win over Rusev last week or the week before, and so like I love that they're just letting this thing cook, man. And I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for the bangers, man.
Yep. Same.
So Grayson Waller has become a new pal, we'll call it, of the New Day, and I don't know what to really come of it, but it's mid at best. But the hat that Xavier Woods was wearing was actually an homage to an anime character that I couldn't even tell you the name of. But it was I looked it up. But it was the goofiest looking thing. Like their whole gimmick of this whole like they lost the titles and now we're gonna wear black and be depressed. Like it's the worst New Day I've seen ever. Like they're complaining, they're whining, they're just down on their luck. They're not doing anything about it like the old New Day would do. They're just pissy and whiny, and I don't want to see them.
But here's the thing, that to me is classic heel stuff. Because if we were to look back at Judgment Day doing the same thing, we had the same complaint
They're not
and the
heels. They're
same
in their
criticism.
they're not heels. They're in their feels. Okay, like, like
But at the same time, we had the same complaint. Let's keep the same energy, but it's this trope, right? It's
yeah,
like this trope. It's like the bad guys have to like point out like all the flaws in the system while the good guys acknowledge the flaws and work within them. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
So yeah, I think I think the it's going to get more ludicrous, and I think that's the point of it, is for it to be so obnoxious and so pretentious that you're just annoyed with them, and
yeah.
that gets them the booze and the energy that they want you to have, which is like, oh, damn it, the New Day's on TV.
But
You know
that's
what I'm
like,
saying?
but like in the same token, that's the job. You make me feel something. It doesn't have. It could be good. It could be bad. But they make
Right,
you feel something.
right,
And that is the WWE mantra, is that you don't have to like me, or you don't have to even like me or don't like me, but I'll make you feel something. And that's kind of what's going on with the New Day. And obviously, they've brought along Grayson Waller, and all I have to know is, where's Austin Theory? Um like,
so
I
Austin Theory apparently is hurt.
I
So
never really heard much of it. It just kind of the group just kind of slowly dissipated.
And second of all, Austin Theory doesn't need Grayson Waller. Grayson
No.
Waller is a leech. He's a leech character to me, and I just find him like, ugh. I find him
Yeah.
but
That's a feeling. Ugh.
yeah, I just like, ugh, like,
Eh,
why are you
meh.
here? Like,
Yeah.
and him aligning himself with the New Day, I think would only make people dislike the New Day even more because
Yeah.
people don't like Grayson Waller. And it's just kind of like, I don't know where this is going, but this is an absolute utter train wreck and I'm disgusted by it, but I
Well,
want to see it.
you just gotta let it cook.
You know what? I'm not mad at it. It's
Yeah.
because it's entertaining, because this is what you get when you get rid of your moral compass in Big E.
There you go. So after Roxanne and Raquel lost their titles, they basically come out and barter for a rematch, which they get, and they lose. And the the happy-go-lucky, we're not friends group is, and I love this. I think, honestly, because Charlotte Flair is so top tier, this is like the fun time in her career, kind of a more of a reprieve to be in tag team versus singles competition. The same thing with Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss is not going to be involved in Wyatt Six stuff. It's they've tried to rumor it, but it never really happened. So we get Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee, kind of something or built throughout the night or whatever. And we get the emergence of not one, not two, but three El Grande Americanos. Like, this story, this whole thing is just out of hand. It is wild. It is stupid. It's not even entertainment anymore. It's just absolutely dumb. And it was the whole Chad Gable thing was one thing, but the fact that he gets hurt and then all of a sudden you start bringing these non-utilized talent in Ludwig Kaiser and what's his face, man, Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne. And then they
Mhm.
also have Tyler Bate as well as one of the characters now. And it's just like, it's just over the top and it's just too much. But I want to get to the meat and potatoes. Even before the Seth Rollins match, we get Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch going tit for tat. And I absolutely love this segment. I think I love the fact that Becky and Seth are actually married. Whew. I had to sneeze that one out. But like I love how they utilize the real life power couple. And the fact that Becky throws the ultimate jab and the knockout punch to Nikki Bella in regards to her past engagement, never married situation to John Cena. And I've seen the crowd erupt. I've seen the crowd have a pop moment. I haven't in a long time seen a crowd like look like they're just raging. And I know we watched the clip beforehand, and so like you seen the crowd erupt in such an authentic way, like they were just like wowing out, like someone just dropped like a massive rap bar in a rap battle or something.
Yeah,
and it was the chef's kiss, and well done by both of them. One, Becky for dropping the bomb, and for Nikki taking it on the chin. So,
like I said, as long as it was cleared, what's on and off limits, cool. I mean, yeah, I I'm just it's like, for me, it's like all right on that line of like almost cringe, but at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, Becky is the heel in this interaction. I mean, if you had any doubts before, you watched that
and
segment.
her
I mean,
mic skills are on point though too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
Becky is
gotta give respect where respect is due. Like
really has improved in her mic skills. She's more comfortable being a heel. Nikki,
she's just
God
there.
bless her.
She was
there. She was the punchline. And it wasn't that it was like just an awful take. It was what it was. It was just like, hey, yo, she just cooked you, and sometimes a promo is like that, but it gets people invested. And good on Becky. I mean, she's been firing on all cylinders during, her return at WrestleMania. She's just been like just a couple of steps above, especially on the mic.
right.
Just like, well done, Becky. I mean, I don't, I know she can act, but she's been really confident, and I really like that. And after, when I think about it, when I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, if she would have said that shit to me, son, oh my goodness, But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, she's right. I mean, you can't be mad about it when she's right.
So we get the main event match, which is Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, and weirdly enough, like the person that actually interrupted the match actually kind of not screwed over LA Knight, but basically Seth obviously wins via disqualification because of Roman Reigns. But I loved the ending, the fact that after all that's said and done, and everybody that has beef with Seth Rollins got their comeuppance from one Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And I thought it was a great way to end the show for them to continue to be top tier and do what they do. So
it makes sense that the show would end like that, because when they're trying to tell a story and one of your biggest draws is about to like go shoot a what could be a really big movie for them, it makes sense to have the people that are going to be on the shows week after week standing over the faces, right?
Right.
So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like,
It-
I don't see how else this could have gone down.
yeah.
It's not the time for the baby faces to, like, you know,
Yeah.
to get their hands raised.
Right.
So yeah.
So SmackDown kicked off with John Cena basically, you know, throwing shots at Brock Lesnar, and the line that John Cena's made very famous: "If you want some, come get some." Um, Obviously ends up with Logan Paul coming out, and followed by Drew McIntyre, followed by Cody Rhodes, and obviously leads to a tag match at the end of the night between Cody Rhodes and John Cena versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, which they seem to be kind of running this tandem into other feuds. So I'm kind of here for it. You have Logan Paul, who's hateable, and you have Drew McIntyre that kind of gets off on being hated. So
Mhm.
um so we had the MFTs and Talatonga and JC Mateo face off against Motor City Machine Guns, which you're not beating Talatonga. He could have
Yeah.
wrestled a handicap match and still won this. So I love what they're doing with the MFT whole thing, because the first time around it was kind of a miss shot, but now that they've kind of revamped the Bloodline 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0, well, however many point ohs we're at,
Right.
with them, I like this group now because they're kind of all on the same page. Obviously, we're still missing one of the Tongas, but yeah. So we'll kind of see once he comes back, what are they going to do? Um,
Welcome him
so
back.
yeah, so we get a Nick Aldis comes out, and basically before the Bloodline leaves the match, they basically, here comes Sami Zayn, the native of Canada, and actually ends up defeating Solo Sikoa in a non-title match. But you know what winning non-title matches gets you is a title shot. So I look forward to what they're going to do with this. Kind of putting Sammy into another story. I'm all for it.
Mhm.
Um, so we had a little birthday celebration via Charlotte Flair for Alexa Bliss, and it's kind of funny to me. Like, I don't know if people actually know Alexa's real name, which is actually Lexi Kaufman. Like that they always call her Lexi, even like, so her character is Alexa, but her actual name is Lexi. But so that's almost the same, pretty much the same name. And so Charlotte had this whole party thing for her, and had a surprise with the Lily doll with the "We're not friends." And I love, before she opened any of the package, she's like, "Charlotte, I'm scared."
Mhm.
and, and so basically comes out with the Lily doll, and which was a Charlie doll that Alexa Bliss gave Charlotte Flair a long time ago, and now she has these two dolls, and it's fun. Obviously, Chelsea Green decides to interrupt with the her service, and we get a match. Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair, and I love when a wrestler can take it on the chin in a metaphoric reason. Like, so Charlotte Flair obviously wins this match, but not without Chelsea Green going face first into the cake. And I thought that was just a funny moment. I think Chelsea Green, ever the showman, and so just covered in cake.
Mm.
Good stuff. So the confusion of this John Cena Cody Rhodes match versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre, it was kind of dumb. They did not leave an appropriate amount of time for this match. Plus, with the commercial break, it made this match feel like it was rushed. It was pushed faster through. Obviously ended in a disqualification, which is really no surprise.
Right.
But I love that the only thing this match did was present us with 2 match possibilities, and that's Logan versus John Cena and Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. Now, there's been builds of it in the past anyways, so these were just seeds planted, and now they have come to fruition. We are most certainly getting John Cena, Logan Paul at Clash in Paris, along with what's her face? Naomi versus Stephanie Vaquer. That's what it was. So that's all we have at Clash in Paris, but we have 3 weeks. So I look forward to what they decide to build on, they decide to come up with. I think there's potential for, a handful of good matches. Because if we already have 2, that means there's only going to be about 3 or 4 added matches, based on repetition of how many matches they put on. So we'll play the wait and see game. We will put a pin in this, and hopefully we're back next week with the full panel as we do to get more insight, and hopefully we have more fun stuff to talk about. We have Raw tomorrow, we got SmackDown Friday, and obviously we have more build for Clash in Paris. Hopefully we get some more information, and I look forward to what happens. So this is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.